time away to recuperate. We're finally back. Thanks for joining on YouTube and IG. And for those on Facebook, thanks for joining. I know you guys really missed your Sunday's session with teachers sharing their experiences all across the globe, especially our Jamaican teachers who come on to share. And today we will be having a male teacher. Guys, you know how Jamaicans react to male teachers because we don't have a lot of them in the classrooms. So when we do see them, we treat them with utmost respect. We're going like say we're frightened, put it in simple terms. But I'm happy to be back, guys. I see people in the live. Welcome, Diane Ricketts, Vlog, Carol, Ebanks, Donna Beach, Samantha Foster, Julie Livermore. Guys, thanks for joining. We hope to have a very informative session today with Mr. Hutchinson so he can shed some light on, the Canadian aspect of teaching abroad. Guys, I know you're hearing what is happening in Jamaica. So many teachers are leaving. And I know somebody made a statement, hey, Stephanie Walker, that the teachers that are leaving and not returning home, they're cowards. I would really like to entertain that topic. Is it really that the teachers are coward? Why are the teachers not going back home? I would really like to get a feel, or should I say, hear from teachers why they think the teachers are not going back. Hey, Denise. I cannot pronounce that name. Hey, Antoinette. Thanks for joining. So if you saw that, or if you heard about that message the mayor want. I'm not gonna tell him Donna. So I'm say the teachers are coward that leave and don't return back to Jamaica. I don't think that's the case. That they do return, but it's when. So I would really like to find out what's really happening. Alicia Murray Hall, thanks for joining. Wagwan peeps, good evening, good vibes always. Yes, Donna Beach. All right, guys. So we have our guest. He's basically backstage. I see where you just popped in. And I must say, I missed you guys each and every Sunday coming on live, to share international experiences with you. And I know a lot of teachers from the United States have been sharing their international experience. And I know people wanted to hear about Canada. So we're going to be hearing from Mr. Hutchinson in a few. But before we go into that, I want to remind you again of our own brand, Eyelit. I'm wearing the shirt today. I don't know. You might not be seeing it on YouTube, so let me get up a little. International Teacher Pride. And that's the logo right there, guys. Isn't that pretty? Yes. So, guys, you want to show your international teacher pride? Hit me up on IG and we can talk some more about that. Hey, Evelyn from Ghana, she's always here. I'm telling you, people who are willing to make that step and seeking information, they will be on to here. Shirt looks good. Thank you, Donna. Canada. Nice, clean Canada in the building. Yes. Very nice and clean. Hey, Rochelle Campbell Flesher. Thanks for joining, guys. We want to get straight into it because we don't want to go, too long Sunday evening. You want to go to school tomorrow and be on your way. So let me introduce you guys, as I said, to our guest today. Now, our guest today is Calbert Hutchinson, and he's a trained educator and administrator who has worked with the Ministry of Education in Jamaica for over 15 years. 15 years. You see, that's a long time, guys. He's now working with the government of Nunavut. I should have asked him to pronounce that, but I'm going to wait until him come on to pronounce that for me. But it's somewhere in Canada. All right. In the Department of Education in Canada. He is the vice principal at Rachel Elementary School. He's going to pronounce that name again because look here, I cannot, and I will not try. I will not even try. In Baker Lake, a small community in the Kivalik region of Nunavut, and has been recently elected as the president of the North Kivalik Teachers Association. Look here, I hear about Canada and the different provinces there, and I hear about Ontario, and I hear about Mississauga, and I hear about all of that. This is the first I'm hearing about this one. So Mr. Hutchinson will be sharing or shedding some light on this area in Canada where he is. So after spending over 5 years working with international volunteer groups in Jamaica as a hobby, Calbert decided to co-start his own nonprofit that works specifically with international volunteer groups, which led to the formation of the Jamaica Lacrosse Association. Calbert has steered the Jamaica Lacrosse Association to where it is now with the help of passionate people along the way, and is also a key member of the Pan American Lacrosse Association, which is the second largest continental federation for world lacrosse. People, well, they know that Jamaica still, or should I say, did you know that Jamaica played that sports? Well, if you did not know, Mr. Hutchinson will be shedding light on that also. Never heard of that province. Me either, Nikisha. So, you know, Calbert, you're in for it today. All right. So, Calbert studied primary education at St. Joseph Teachers College. So, you know, my Josephites who are in the house, just go ahead and put a thumbs up in the chat. Big up on yourself, St. Joseph Teachers College, all the way. We ain't never scared. Yes. And he did his master's in educational administration from the University of the West Indies in leadership and management from Micah University, and a certificate in both nonprofit leadership and green business management from Seneca College in Ontario. So I have a lot of questions for Calbert. So without any further ado, I'm just going to welcome him, guys, and let's hear from him. He's going to tell us a lot. Cause listen, Calbert, you have me over here tie up my tongue, you know. You have me over here tie up my tongue. I was asked you to pronounce it, and for some reason, I forgot to say, please pronounce this province for us. So the first thing, welcome, Mr. Hutchinson. Thanks for joining us this evening, and we are very happy to have you sharing with us. Listen, you know, Jamaicans, when they see other male teachers in the classroom, I don't know, we lost him. So let's wait for him to come back so he can come and talk up all the things. My Conians run out. Yeah, man, I'm going Michael to Diane, as well as St. Joseph. All right, so I think he's back. Let's see what's happening. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Dr. Britton?
Hello, but yes.
Let me pull a little closer to my mic.
Let me turn up mine. Yeah, I think that's good. Yes.
All right. A little better now. Your video is it's paused. I'm not able to see you.
I don't know why, but it's not paused on my end. You're seeing me now?
Maybe it's my no, I'm not seeing you.
I'm seeing you, and I guess the people in the chat, they're seeing you guys. If you're seeing Mr. Hutchinson, just let us know in the chat if you're seeing him. I see where they're saying welcome, Mr. Hutchinson, so they can see you. So maybe it's your internet connection, but we're seeing and hearing.
Yeah. You know what? That's possible because where I'm at right now, it's a bit overcast, and it's not the best place where internet connectivity, works well. So that's possible.
Yes.
I I I I heard you trying to pronounce the name of the
Trying.
elementary school that I'm at. Yes, yes, man. You know what?
Trying.
Uh, it I don't feel anyway because even in my second year of being at this school, it was very difficult for me to even pronounce that word.
I
Right? So
didn't
it's
call that
Rachel
word any at
Agnamatic.
all.
Rachel Rachel Agnamatic Elementary School, and it's a school that has about 200 and a little over 270 students, and it's in
Uh-huh.
the North Kivalik region. All right.
Org. No, I'm trying to put it in the chat box. Matic.
Agnamatic, Agnamatic Elementary School. So it's Rachel Agnamatic Elementary School,
All
and
right.
you almost got it right. The name of the territory. So we have provinces and territory. We have three territories in Canada.
Yeah.
Nunavut is one of the three territories. So you have Nunavut, you have Yukon, and you have the Northwest Territory. So Nunavut is where I'm located in the North Kivalik region. So you have three region within Nunavut. You have the
Yeah.
Kivalik region, which is divided into other sub-regions. You have the Kikitani region and you have the Kikitmiut region. So I've worked in the Kikitani region, and I'm now working in the Kivalik region in
But
Nunavut.
question. So you say the government of Nunavut. Kivalik is
Yes.
also the same area. Kivalik, Nunavut.
Yes, the Kivalik region is within Nunavut. So as I
Okay,
said
good.
before, you have three regions. You have the Kivalik region, which you have north, south, east, and west. You have the
Uh-huh.
Kikitani region, and you also have the Kikitmute region.
So you're in the Kivalik
And these are all.
region and in a place called
I mean,
Nunavut. And this is the first I'm
uh,
hearing of that area in Canada. So, we have a lot of
mm,
questions about Nunavut. All right, so we're going to get straight
mm,
into it, Mr. Hutchinson. We can see from your bio that you wear many hats, right? We want to
fair,
learn all
fair
about your
ballad, man.
experiences. You say what?
Fair ballad, man.
We want to learn all about your experiences, whether you have on a hat or your head ball. Can you tell us some more about your non-profit organization that led you to create it, and what led you to creating such an organization?
Well, um, I'm going to big up Father Burchell McPherson as I know him, but he is now Bishop Burchell McPherson, the Bishop of Montego Bay. I
Yeah,
grew up in an inner city community, Cockburn Pen. All right. And the church was a safe space. It was a refuge. It was an oasis in the desert for us.
yeah,
And our involvement in church wasn't just going and praying and breaking bread and drinking wine. It was
right,
getting involved in various groups, organizations that allowed us to develop important skill sets that I'm using up to today. All right. So
right,
I was in youth group. I was in the choir. I was a musician, and being there, I worked with volunteer groups that came down from Florida to on missions within the church. So that's where I developed a passion for working with volunteer groups through
right.
church. All right. And over time, I continued working with a few school groups who came down through the church. And I was forced to register an organization to accommodate those groups because their organizations in the States, one of in Canada, required a legitimate entity for them to work with, and
Yeah,
that's how I co-founded local and international volunteer enterprise, which is Live Enterprise. And that organization worked with volunteer groups,
yeah,
and we were approached by a development officer coming from World Lacrosse, which was named the Federation of International Lacrosse then. I was recommended to work with him. He came to me, and we started working together. And by virtue of working with him, I automatically was thrust in that position of president for this now Jamaica Lacrosse Association, which we had to register.
Awesome. All right. So
So that's how I started out.
that's awesome. And you did answer my next question, like how you got into the Jamaica Lacrosse Association. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if people in the chat or people who's listening, if they're familiar with lacrosse, or what if somebody's interested in joining the sport? What route can they take to become a
Well, right now we have our stakeholder groups, the beneficiaries and the recipients. The recipients are really the students that we serve and the schools that we serve in
yeah.
Jamaica. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, we're in most of the traditional high schools in Jamaica, in Kingston and St. Andrew. So we're talking
Okay.
about St. George's College, Kingston College, Woolmer's Boys and Girls. We're in Excelsior. We're in Holy Trinity, which is across from KC and St. George's College. We're in Hillel, Campion. We're about to set up in St. Catherine High, St. Hugh's, you name it. And it's rapidly growing within the schools within Jamaica.
That
All right.
sounds good.
So if you're a student, and you missed the cut of making the basketball team or
Yeah.
the cricket team or the soccer team, lacrosse is there as a reasonable alternative.
Yeah.
And right now it's doing extremely well in providing
Yes.
international experience for our players, because and that's another thing. I can go on and on and on about all the accomplishments in the last 8 years.
Awesome. I see you, Rochelle, is saying St. Hughes is doing really well. We can come back to lacrosse after. I think that's really good
Mhm.
that we have that sport in our schools in Jamaica. And I must commend you. You live in Canada, but you're still playing your part back home. That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's a testament of having a good team of people who believe in you and you
Yes.
believe in them. And, it is very important having the right people
Yes,
working
that
with.
is so true. That is so true. All right. So I know the viewers are interested in the educational aspect of the interview. So we're going to jump into that. And if lacrosse comes up back,
Mhm.
we'll get back to lacrosse. All right. So can you tell us, Mr. Hutchinson, did you always want to become a teacher? Because I know males don't usually want to go in the
No,
classroom. It's rare that males go in the classroom.
I want to tell you, um, Britain, I becoming a teacher was the last thing on my mind, the last thing I
Amen.
would ever want to do. All
Right.
right. I wanted to be an electrical engineer. Right.
Yes.
I did electrical installation in high school, and I went to Tarrant secondary as it was then. All
Yeah.
right. So I wasn't the brightest of student. I was a bad lad growing up in Cockburn Pen, to the point where when some of my former teachers back at Dupont Primary School and Tarrant found out
Yeah.
that I was a teacher, they couldn't believe. They had to
Cannot.
see me in person and hear it out of my mouth for them to believe.
Yes.
That's how bad it was. So
Wow.
I never wanted to be a teacher. No.
Wow. All right. So, what inspired you then? How did you get there? How did you get to St. Joseph Teachers College
Uh,
with a degree, then your master's in education?
uh,
Can you
all
enlighten us?
right, all right. Let me tell you, and I'm going to cut the story short.
Yeah.
Um, I left Tarrant with the hope of just getting an apprenticeship in an electrical department, and somehow I sat at home for about 3 months waiting, and nothing happened. So,
Yeah.
being the go-getter that I've always been, I got up and I went on the National Youth Service. I hope that program is still going on, the National Youth Service, and I signed up for 6 months or no 1 month orientation camp, which I went, and I went to Knox Community College for that 1 month.
Yeah.
And when I was finished, I was placed on job experience for 6 months. All right, 6 months. The job site that I was placed at was my old primary school, DuPont Primary. So I went back to DuPont Primary School on job experience for 6 months, working beside some of the same teachers I used to give hell. and it was, and DuPont is adjoined to St. Pius Roman Catholic Church, where Father Burchell was priest at the time. And
Yeah.
that experience, when I finished my 6 months, the church got funding from one of those same volunteer groups from Florida to continue my employment for another 4 months.
Wow.
And throughout that time, I was encouraged by mentors within the church to go into education, get into education. I didn't have the required subjects at the time. I only had about 3 CXC subjects and some SSE subjects. I didn't have math. And I was encouraged to get into teachers college. And I was like, how the hell am I going to get into college when I don't have the required subjects?
Right.
One of the previous, Father Michael Lewis at the time, said to me, don't worry about that. We're going to work out something. And he spoke to one of the sisters, Sister Trinita. Those who are from St. Joseph know Sister Trinita during my time, and they bend the requirements a little for me to enter
Because you're
into
a
Teachers
male?
College with the hope, yes, and with the hope that upon entering, I would have completed the in-house math exam.
Yes.
Right? Because that was the only outstanding requirement that I needed. So they bend the rules for me. I got in with the limited CXC subjects that I had, and the rest was history.
Yes.
However, the first year I did the math, we needed 75 to pass. Right? The first year I did it, I got 74.
Wow.
and so I had to do it the second year, and we only spent 3 years at St. Joseph.
Yes.
So the second year I did it, I got 76.
Good. Good. Very good.
So I got it in the second
Very
sitting.
good.
But I go ahead.
But I must add to what you just said about the NYS, National Youth Service, because we have something in common there. Because myself went on that 1 month thing, that program at the Knox Community College, and I was also placed in a school for that assistant teacher experience, because basically we were assisting the regular teachers, and it's from there I progressed also to Teachers College. So as you mentioned earlier, the National Youth Service Program, it's an awesome program. So many people have benefited from it, and I see somebody in the chat said still going on. So I think that's a plus. They're getting something right with that. So we definitely need to highlight highlight the positive things when we see them. So grateful for that.
Yeah,
and also
and that
for that
program,
math exam. That math exam, I think I got 75 too. On the dot.
So we have a lot in common right there.
On the dot. The only thing was that you could get in Teachers College in St. Joseph with any numerical subject. So I had accounts. So they say, okay, you have a numerical subject, but you still need to do our in-house math. So I know exactly what you're talking about. All right. So guys, the next question, Mr. Hutchinson, what motivated you to go to Canada to teach? That's my next question. What motivated you to go to Canada?
Dr. Britton, I kind of have some a gift in seeing things before it happens, right? And if you look at what is happening in Jamaica right now, it costs a living, and especially when it comes down to professionals like ourselves who spend thousands of dollars going to universities to upgrade ourselves, which is a requirement by the government to matriculate from one position to the next within the school system, right? And then you can't take public transportation because you have to reach a government work on time to get
Mm-hmm.
ready for those kids to settle them before you start the class. So you have to borrow money if you buy a car because you don't have the money,
Yes.
you don't have the cash in hand, and you need to be comfortable, right? So you can't stay in the inner city which by you grew up, or you can't stay in a little rent house. So you have to find some ways of borrowing money either through NHT or jointly with a bank to get a house so you can feel
Right.
comfortable. So with all those requirements, it's a burden when you have to go through all of that to get all of those in place, and then you're not being remunerated properly. You not get your pay cannot. You, I literally um experience, and I've came across teachers, colleagues who were borrowing money to tie them over to the next
Like,
month.
and it's true. And JTA and A Square, M Square, and all those credit unions are always
Mhm.
full with teachers borrowing money to,
Oh gosh.
keep them running for the rest of the month. Even though they get paid at the end of the month, you still see these
Mhm.
entities filled with teachers borrowing money.
That that's it. Teachers literally have to borrow money to tie them over for to the next month. So
Yeah,
so I saw that coming from early out. When you start
yeah,
live paycheck to paycheck, and by before you get your salary, it done.
done.
I said to myself, you know what? I had I have to make a move. I
Yeah.
have to make a move, and
So
I've not. Mhm.
we don't want to get in any politics, but a certain person would say the teachers who are leaving are cowards to not to want to go home after they have gone. Would you say they're I'm not even gonna say a week, yeah. Would you
I, I
say
I know the story that I know the story that you're referencing, and that person is
yes?
from Montego Bay, where all the choppers are. So that
Okay,
person might be privy to a lot of chopper money. We don't have
okay.
those luxury of
None
getting
at
chopper money,
all.
so we have to move.
Have to
We have to
move.
move out and,
Money
and,
have to
and do
make.
it thing.
Money have
Yeah.
to make. All right, can you
Mm-hmm.
tell us, Mr. Hutchinson, in Nunavut? I hope I'm saying it right. What's the weather and the
None of
culture
it.
like? Nunavut. What's the weather and the culture like there?
All right. The I'll talk about the culture first.
Yes.
Back in school, we learned we read and we were taught about Eskimos. And that was wrong. That's a derogatory term. I'm just putting it out there, but for
Yeah.
educational purposes, I'll say it. That's what we were taught in school.
Yeah.
Those that group of people are referred to as the Inuit. So I'm within an Inuit community where I embrace the Inuit culture,
Mm-hmm.
where they live off the land, and the weather here is high Arctic, so it can get as cold as minus 60 degrees Celsius.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate to experience going out on the land with locals, with elders, where I was able to go on dog sled. I was able to experience building an igloo, being in that igloo in minus 40 degrees Celsius, ice
Wow.
fishing, hunting, going out hunting caribou, harvesting that caribou, picking berries, going geese hunting, the whole works.
Yeah.
Never shy to go out on the land with the locals. So that's what the culture is like on the land, higher Arctics, experiencing the Inuit way of life.
And I noticed I noticed you made sure to clarify that the term, what, remind me of the term again that you use? That you
Eskimo. It's
the
a
Eskimos,
derogatory.
that
Yeah,
the
yeah.
derogatory. So once you said
Hmm.
that, I had a picture. I could visualize in my mind basically what it looks
Hmm.
like there. It might not be
Oh
100%
yeah.
true, but I can visualize it from what we learned back, when we were younger.
Hmm.
So I don't know about
Yeah.
others. All right. So can you tell us, like myself and some of the viewers here who have taught in Jamaica, We would love to know what are the requirements to teach in Canada.
Well, the requirements are pretty much the same. The only difference is that right now the Jamaica Teachers Council and is it NTEP, they're trying to institute a licensing system
Yeah,
in Jamaica now that exists here. Every province and every territory requires a license, and that's how they control those who come in the profession. So that's the first obstacle. You have to get your license, and for teachers coming out of Jamaica, especially from St. Joseph College, because there's a little difference. Those who went straight into secondary education, getting a license here, you might be required to, and it's not all the time, but you might be required to do some one course or two. You'll get
yeah,
a provisionary license, but you might be required to do a course or two. But for those who did primary education,
yeah.
right, as the base, then you might not be required to do anything.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah,
So these licensing bodies, and I went through the Ontario College of Teachers, OCT.
yeah,
They require all your transcripts, your certificates, your bachelors. Once you have them, you get them mailed in a seal envelope to them. Then
hmm,
they go through um verifying your documents, and then within, if you meet all the requirements, then in a few months they issue your license. However,
yeah.
however, the barrier for a lot of people, and I know you might get to this question, they don't offer work permit. All right, they
Okay.
don't offer work permit here, so you have to get residency,
All right. So
and that's the
that
barrier.
since you bring that up, because I that was coming up, so I'm just gonna jump straight into
Mhm,
it. Because I want to know. I know, unlike USA, where they're scurrying for teachers, and you have all these agencies
mhm,
that searching for teachers to fill positions in the United States.
mhm.
Is there a teacher shortage in Canada? First of all, is there a teacher shortage there?
um yes,
There is.
yes.
Okay, so there's a teacher shortage, but they don't do like what USA do. So what is it that where do they go for their teachers then? Or I don't know. If I want to come to
They,
to Canada to teach, or Jamaicans want to come to teach, what route can we take if there's no recruiters recruiting teachers to come to Canada?
Well, it's that's a very good question, and that's the challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You have to get residency first. Work permit, you're not going to get a work permit through any of the school boards here.
Mm-hmm.
So residency comes in many different ways, and it is time. There's a time factor to it. And I can share my experience as it relates to the route that I took.
Please.
I went to school. That's
Yeah.
the most secured way. And
Yeah.
there are a lot of factors that you have to take into account. I went to school, I study. So if you study for 1 year at a recognized institution, then
Yes.
you can get, say, an equivalent work permit, 1 year
Mm-hmm.
work permit for that 1 year of study. If you
Yes.
study for 2 consecutive years, then the equivalent work permit you'll get for that would be 3 years. All
Wow.
right. So a lot
Yeah.
of people opt to study,
For two
get
years.
enrolled into a 2 year program, and
Yes.
upon completing that 2 year program, then they would get the 3 year work permit, and that now is a route to residency. You work
Yes.
for 1 full year uninterrupted, right?
Yes.
And upon completing that 1 year of work experience in Canada, you get that Canadian work experience, which is a major part. Then you submit your application for permanent residency, and then
Awesome.
the rest is history.
All
But
right.
that's an
So
expensive route.
yeah, and that's the that's the way you went.
Yes, that's the one I went.
All right.
But there are ways to navigate that.
So if I'm getting it clear, guys, one way, and this is the expensive way, as Mr. Hutchinson is saying, is you can apply for a school, but it has to be a recognized school. You said recognized school.
Yeah.
What do you mean recognized?
You have colleges, universities. It can be, say, an institution that is not accredited. It has to be a
Okay.
recognized, accredited institution by the
Okay.
Canadian government. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you apply to study. You can apply for a 1 year program or a 2 year program, depending on that. If it's a 1 year, then you get
Mhm.
1 year work permit. If it's a 2 year program, you get a 3 year work permit. And you said
Mhm.
after you finish study, while you study, you can work part time, right?
Yes, yes. As an
And
international student coming up, you're allowed to work at least 20 hours. Uh, yeah.
yeah, and then
Is it per
one
day or? Mhm.
you say once I'm finished studying, then I need to work 1 full year uninterrupted. And once I'm finished
Yeah.
working for 1 full year in Canada uninterrupted, then I can apply for residency.
Yes, but during that time though, if anybody is taking that route, if once you start studying full time, you'll get your social insurance number, right? They call it a SIN. Once you get that, then you can start the application for your teaching license. So
Yeah.
while you're studying, you will be going through the process of getting your license. So as soon as you finish um, studying, you would have
Yes.
already have your teaching license.
Awesome. So the next thing I wanted to clarify is this. You say after that 1 year of work, I can apply for permanent residency. In the United States, it's rare for somebody to go and apply for their own permanent residency. You have to be sponsored by a work or you have to be
Hmm.
sponsored by a citizen. In Canada, you say after my 1 full year of work, I can apply for my own residency.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. And let me put it out there. The advice I'm giving is based on my own experience. I'm not
Yes, you did say
a
that.
travel agent. I'm not registered. It's based on my experience. All right.
Yes, you did say that, Mr.
So.
Hutchinson. Based on
Mhm,
Mr. Hutchinson's experience, how he got to where he is now. And thanks for sharing, Mr. Hutchinson.
mhm.
So, my next question
Yeah.
is after your studies and all that, how difficult was it for you to get a teaching job in Canada?
It wasn't difficult at all. It was very easy. Within my first month of finishing my studies, I got on the supply roster for one of the school board in Ontario. The only
Yeah.
challenge though is once you're on a supply roster, there is no guarantee that you're going to get into a long-term occasional position, which is equivalent to a full-time.
Yes.
And during that period, right, of my first year after studies, I wanted a full-time job so I could meet my requirement for residency.
Yes.
So I opt to leave that supply position, and that's how I ended up in Nunavut because
Okay.
the job here was a full-time position.
And how far away is Nunavut from like Ontario?
Oh my gosh. You in terms of distance, I don't know the exact distance, but you fly from Pearson International Airport. It take you about 2.5 hours to get to Winnipeg, and then from Winnipeg, more than likely you're going to overnight in Winnipeg, and then you fly from Winnipeg to Rankin Inlet, which is another a 3 hour flight, depending on the type of plane that you're on, and then
Mm-hmm.
from and you get into Nunavut. But where I'm at, I have to get on to another 45 minutes flight from Rankin Inlet to Baker Lake.
I'm getting a feeling like Nunavut is really just far. Far.
In a really far, in a really far, I'll say about in all, it might take you up to 6 hours if you're flying nonstop to get there. However, it's you don't have straight flights, and that's what makes it a little bit difficult. You don't have straight flights from Toronto, Pearson
Okay.
International. So you have to leave from Pearson, depending on where you're coming from, either Ottawa, Pearson, you go to Winnipeg, or you go to Iqaluit, and then from Winnipeg to Rankin Inlet, and from Rankin Inlet to other communities. And
Okay,
it's at
so
strictly flying communities. There are no roads leading to Nunavut. You have to fly in.
wow. Wow. All right, can you tell us what are the benefits of teaching in Canada?
Um, it's There are lots of benefits. Pretty much similar to some of the benefits that exist in Jamaica and in the States, but they're way better. Put it that way.
Yeah,
So, in terms of health benefit, you upon with your provincial or territorial health benefit, you're provided with additional healthcare benefit through the 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 teaching body that you're with.
yeah.
In terms of the salary, the salary is really good if you know how to survive.
Yeah.
You can yeah, you can survive, and not just survive, but you can thrive with the remuneration that you get.
Awesome. And I don't know why it's in my head. I don't know. And I maybe I'm biased, but I'm just feeling like Nunavut a country and a bush compared. I
I
don't
guess what
know. So because of that,
I but you know what, Britain,
yes.
you can't say a bush because no tree no up here. You don't have any trees,
Well,
right? Because
well,
it's the thermofrost, it's above the tree line. You don't, and that was one of the biggest shocker for me when I left Ontario. And the
yeah,
first community that I went to was in Arctic Bay. That was the second closest community to the actual North Pole. So you have Arctic Bay, you have Grease Fjord, and then you have Resolute Bay. So Arctic Bay was the second closest community to the actual North Pole. When I got there, I thought I was on the moon. That's
wow,
that's how I felt. There are no trees, they're all rocks. And during the winter time, everything is frozen over. There are little like craters, lots of lakes, lots of water. And it looks barren from afar, but looks it's deceiving, right? It
yeah.
is rich in animal life. If you go out on the land, you'll be surprised. But there are no trees up here, no trees.
So, what about resources? Do you have a lot of resources in your schools? Technology and stuff like
Schools are
that?
not schools are not short on resources. Here, it's how you utilize the resources that
Yeah,
matters. In Jamaica, we those who went to St. Joseph Teachers College, we know you every single garbage bin they pass and uproad them the cardboard boxes and all them stuff the outside, because what we made our resources from scratch.
yeah,
You understand? When we did technology in education, that was literally using resources to make our teaching aids. So, in terms of resources here, we have an abundance of resources, and this is just based on how I look at it. We have
yeah,
access to technology, iPads, computers, online resources, and as much as all the internet is expensive here,
yeah,
we still have access to online resources,
yeah.
but it's just how the resources are utilized
All right. So, what
and the
growth?
government spend money.
What growth? What type of growth is there for teachers in Canada, and specifically in Nunavut?
When you say growth, you're talking about individual personal growth
As a
within the
teacher,
system
what if
as
I
an
want to
educator,
move up to
or
something else, leave the classroom? What type of avenues can I take? What if I want to be like an academic coach or a East teacher? That's the English language teacher. What if I want to not
okay.
be stuck in the classroom every day? What's there for
Well,
me?
whichever position you decide to take on, one way or the other, you're going to end up in the classroom. But outside of just being a classroom teacher, whether you're a subject teacher or you're a generalist, we do have various positions here, similar to the ones that you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
We have a learning coach. And this is an individual that works directly with the teacher. So just like how you train the trainers, this person is expected to collaborate with teachers, go through curriculum development, look at best practices, and address issues that they're experiencing,
Mm-hmm.
whether within the class or within their delivery of whatever lesson. So that's a learning coach. We also have a student support teacher, and the student support teacher is like the specialist that works with students who are at risk, exceptionalities within the school. So students who are below grade level, students who are above their grade level, the student support teacher works with teachers and specific students along with administrators as well. All right,
All
so
right.
that is there. And then there's always the prospect of getting into administration. Not a lot of people really wants the headache and the extra work.
Yeah.
So here in Nunavut, there's once you have the credentials, you have the experience and the
Yeah.
willingness to take on a task, it's possible to
Yeah.
get into administration.
So that was my next question. You say you didn't initially want to be a teacher. So after becoming a teacher, was it on your agenda then to get in administration?
Oh yes, yes. Once you realize that I was capable
Yeah.
and me could have do it too,
Yes.
then the sky was the limit. The sky
Right.
was the limit. And back in Jamaica, um, you know, I felt that I was being held back to some extent,
Yeah.
and this is why, and that's why I personally did not sit around and wait on anybody to validate me
Yes.
as someone who could do the job. I went out there and I pumped that energy into my own organization. So
Yes.
I created opportunities for myself to get that type of administrative experience.
Building your own table.
Mm,
Yeah. And what you said sounds so familiar to so many other Jamaican teachers, like they were being held back. And I don't know why that is so, and why Jamaican teachers don't feel like they can excel or they can get more out of their teaching profession. But then they go to different countries and things happen. So I'm not sure
mhm.
what is the cause of that, but a lot of teachers do complain about that feeling of being,
It's a men-
held
it's,
back.
it's a mentality. It's a mentality that exists among senior teachers, so-called senior teachers, and administrators back in Jamaica.
Yeah.
It's a mentality.
All right. So, what would you say are then the advantages of teaching in Canada? If you were to sell Canada and the different route, because you explained your route to us, which is the expensive route. We did not get into any other route. I don't know if you want to share any other route with the viewers.
Yeah.
But if you were to say, come to Canada to teach, what would be the advantages of coming to teach there in Canada?
Well, and this is based on again my experience, and I can talk based on other people that I've communicated with. I had a friend who she had a PhD, and she entered into the express entry profile. Now, you have, if you have your credentials and you're young, and I'll go through the factors that they take into account for this process. You enter into the express entry profile, and that is a point-based system. All right,
Yes.
and this is how Canada sieve out the best of the best to come to Canada. Now, if
Yes.
you go that route, then you don't necessarily have to study, but there's no guarantee that you're going to be pulled from that pool of candidates, right?
Yes.
So they take into account your age, your qualification, your language, your experience as well, and they add points to those, and based on the number of points that they're looking for at any given time, then you can be pulled from that pool.
Yeah.
All right. So
You
it's
mentioned
called
the
the express entry
you
profile.
mentioned you mentioned the language thing for the express entry, and I suddenly got like a PTSD moment. Like, you have to do that English test.
Yeah, but I did it twice. The first time I passed, I got the required number of scores that I needed to have on it. But by the time I was ready to
Expire.
submit my application, it expired. So I had to do it
Mhm.
again,
Yes.
right? What I found is I did the IELTS exam. The IELTS exam. What I found is that it's not really about your ability to speak the Queen's language. It's
Mm-mm.
your ability to it's it's technique. It's technique that is required, right?
Yes.
Listening technique, speaking technique, your writing technique. It's all about technique. It's not about
Yes.
your ability really to speak.
Yeah.
You listen to the audios and respond in a timely fashion. How
Yeah.
you read through or sift through and glance over and look for the important points in that written piece, and then you're expected to speak to someone for a specified time, and we already can do that. So it's about technique. So
I don't
you
like
don't have
that
to be.
test. I don't like that test.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that test. I don't like that test. All
Yeah, a
right.
lot of
So,
people get
all right.
really worried
So,
about it.
yes. So the selling points now. What would you say? Why would you say come to teach to Canada? And we're wrapping up, guys. So if
Yeah,
you have any questions, you can get those ready.
I wish I didn't have to do this. I wish I could stay in Jamaica and teach and and earn like a teacher should earn, right? Because nowhere like yard. You understand?
Yes.
And people and students in Jamaica value education way more, I must say,
Yes.
right? They value education way more. So nowhere like yard. However, if I should um, say anything about Canada, I've never been a fan of the States, especially with the racial climate and
Yes.
the level of discrimination that is there. Just for
Yeah.
that alone, um, I would say come to Canada. All right,
Yes.
it is, yeah, just for that alone.
Yes.
You can live, you can go about your business without worrying about police stopping you and shooting you for no reason at all.
Yeah. And I like the part where you can actually apply for your own residency without depending on a job
Mm-hmm.
or a family member or another citizen before you can actually become a resident. That is a plus. That's a selling point.
Mm-hmm.
But as you know, is there anything that I did not ask you that you'd like to share with us today, Mr. Hutchinson?
Nothing that I can think of at the moment, but yeah,
All
we've
right,
touched on
so
a lot in the short space of time.
all right, so guys, if you have any questions, you can put those in the comment section. Mr. Hutchinson, I'm going to remove you just for a second so you can maybe take a sip of water if you'd like.
All right. No, no. Before you remove me though,
Yeah.
it just crossed my mind. Those who are listening, we if you're on your computer on your phone, take the time to visit Jamaica Lacrosse .net,
Mm-hmm.
and you can look us up on Instagram and Facebook. Look at all the accomplishment. We have a promotion going on
Jamaica
our Instagram page where there is a link if you
Lacrosse.
want to purchase any Jamaica Lacrosse apparels. You can go on that and support a worthy cause.
All right, we're not finished with you, Mr. Hutchinson. When I say remove you, I didn't mean you're finished. We're finished, The question's gonna be coming from the
Oh, okay.
audience. I'm just removing it. So if you want to drink some water, you're not really on screen, All right. So
All right. I get you. I get you. I get you.
yes,
I get
just
you.
30 seconds, and I'm going to interact with them, give you some time to drink some water, and then I'll take you back in. Guys, I did put the
Mhm.
link there, JamaicaLacrosse.net. I hope I got it correct. If you have any questions,
That's correct.
Mr. Hutchinson, get your questions ready. He's taking his water break. He will be right back. I'm not leaving. Okay, guys, so I wanted to share with you also. I know a lot of Jamaican teachers, or not just Jamaican teachers, are studying to do the different exams to get their teaching license. And I want to introduce you to study.com. Study.com. If you've ever used study.com before, or if you've ever considered using study.com before, and know you have to pay for these what do I call them? Those information to study and to follow, especially if you're doing the praxis and you're using study.com, you can use my personal code where you will get 30% off the first time you sign up. And all you gotta type in is kicking with Dr. Britton. I will also put a link in the description for those who are studying for their praxis, to get their license. If you want to get that discount, you can use my discount code, kicking with Dr. Britton. I think Mr. Hutchinson should be ready. Let's get him back in. And if there are any questions, no, look by Mr. Hutchinson. I drink the water when him come back on screen.
That's a third sip.
I'm a Jamaican teacher
Mm,
teaching in Canada, Saskatchewan. Look here, I can't believe them name to be exact.
Saskatchewan.
Yes, I find it better here as a teacher. Thank you for that, Carolin Morrison. Thank you for sharing. Is there any question for Mr. Hutchinson, guys? I saw where Simplified English 101 was asking what are some of the programs that exist that recruit teachers. I know we mentioned that earlier. I don't know if you want to go back over that again, Mr. Hutchinson, about recruiters for Canada as regards to
There's
teaching.
no recruiters for Canada. There's no recruiters for Canada. Not that I'm aware of. You go through the whole process. You get your residency on your own, and once you're here, then the sky is the limit as it relates to getting jobs within the school system. If you
Yeah.
stay within the provinces that are, you know, the well-known one, it's you will have to supply, like Ontario. You go through the system of supplying, and then you supply for a period, then you get onto the long-term occasional, and then you do that for a while before you get any permanent jobs. But when you go in the far out communities like Saskatchewan, Nunavut, Northwest Territories, you're more likely to get into a full-time position faster.
Okay. All right. Shanique is asking, what are the affordable study options in continuing in education?
It is as affordable as your knowledge of the program, and let me explain that. um, what I did, instead of enrolling into a 2-year program right away, that sometimes it's really expensive, I
Yeah.
enroll into a 1-year program first. And while I'm in that 1-year program, I'm scouting out other programs, right? And at the same time, looking to see if I can get a job right after I finish that 1-year program. If I could do that, then I could work for 1 full year right after I finish. But it is highly unlikely that you're going to get a job right away after you finish a 1-year program. So you
Yes.
might not have that full year to work. So during that 1-year program, I looked for a similar 1-year program to the one that I'm doing. And the reason for that, once I completed the first year, I enrolled in that second program with similar courses. And those courses that are similar, I request to be exempted from those courses because I already have them, and I
Yeah.
make sure that I keep enough courses to remain a full-time student, because you need to be a full-time student in order to get the benefits of applying for that 3-year work permit.
Yeah.
So every course that comes with a program cost. So if I can remove, say, 3 courses from a program that I'm doing, then it's going to reduce the overall cost for that 1-year program, which is what I did. And
Yeah.
throughout that time, you are eligible to apply for various grants and scholarships within that institution of your choice. So that also helped to reduce the overall cost for the program. So and navigate the system, and you can find ways and means of surviving.
Yes.
And for mature students who enroll in graduate certificate programs at colleges or universities, if you go with a master's or even an advanced degree, you might just end up working within that college or university while you're a full-time student
Yeah.
in some decent paying jobs. Because when I was at Seneca in my second year as a full-time student, I was a part-time professor. For I was doing some communication course,
Yes.
right? Interpersonal communication. And that was because the professors who were there understood that I am a mature student, I already have a master's. So they were looking for someone to teach a course. And they
Yes.
reached out to me, and I did that. And that program alone helped to pay off the entire year tuition.
Yeah. So you basically just need to be smart. Smart.
You just
And I
need to be
say
smart.
Alan girl, so she's inspired to try and apply for the US teaching program. And the Canada things seem harder to get through. Trust me, Alan girl, the Canada things seem harder, but in the long run, it's gonna be more beneficial. And when I say more
Mhm.
beneficial, in no time, as Mr. Hutchinson explained, after your 1 full year of working in Canada, you can apply for your own
Mhm.
residency. People here in the United
Yeah,
States
and
go 2 years and still have to be waiting for somebody to sponsor them. So you have to look
yeah,
at it
and there
both.
easier way. There easier way of getting here, that I didn't mention.
Yeah, go ahead with the
Britain.
India way, Mr. Hutchison.
Well, if whether you're male or female, if you're single and willing to find somebody to marry to within 6 months, you can get here, with all the documents that you need.
Yes. Yes. We know that's always an
Hmm.
option. We know that's always an option, guys.
Hmm.
Which grades you
And
teach
then
during Canada?
there also, yeah,
Somebody was
and there
go
are
ahead.
people who they're experiencing hardship in one way or the other. For battered females, you can you can apply for we call it now a under the refugee status, and there are other, if circumstances that can allow you to apply under that status as well.
Yeah. I see Diane is asking what grade Mr. Hutchinson teach. Let me remind you, Diane. Maybe you weren't on earlier. He's the vice principal at Rachel Orgnomatic. I get it this time. Rachel.
Yeah.
At Rachel Elementary School. He's the vice principal there. But yes, before he was in administration, he was a teacher. So we want to congratulate him on his administrative role because we know that is hard. Yes, teachers, we are facing
Mhm.
difficulties as well, but administrators face difficulties too. So that's what he's actually doing now. He's the vice principal at an elementary school. And did I mention also the president of North Cavalique Teachers Association? Is is that similar to JTA?
It's similar to JTA. It's a teachers union, but for the region that I'm in, that oversee 5 schools, 5 communities with multiple schools.
And you're the president.
Yes.
And so many teachers in Jamaica to get presidency in JTA. We don't even want to go there. And how long you been in Canada, Mr. Hutchinson?
Um, I've been here studying since 2015. So
Wow.
2015,
Wow.
2016 as student,
Wow.
full-time
Wow.
student, and teaching since full-time since 2017.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mr. Hutchinson. Congratulations
Mhm.
on all that you have achieved and all that you're going to achieve in the future. You're doing an awesome job there in Canada. You're making us proud here in Jamaica and back in the United States because look,
Mhm.
as somebody was saying, she wants to go the easier route. The easier route is not always the best route. I'm serious. The easier route is not always the best route. So think about it, guys.
Yeah.
Think about it. I
I
don't.
I'll put this out there, Dr. Britton.
Yes.
I could have gone the easier route as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like when people take liberty on me. You
Yes.
understand? I'm a very feisty. You
Yes.
understand? And I don't want anybody to have anything over my head. So I chose to, do it my way, which was a hard
Yes.
way. And
Yes.
trust me, the benefit, I can't complain at all.
Cannot,
Can't complain.
cannot. I see
Mhm.
Alan Girl says, thanks so much. Thanks for such a wonderful interview. Very informative. Keep up the good work, guys. I feel so proud listening to you. Um, Somebody was
Thank
asking
you.
about work permit. Is it an option? I know you explained that earlier how the work permits work is after you study, then you're eligible for work permits, right? Or while you're
Um,
studying.
while while you're studying as an international student, and again, depending on the program that you're doing, you get your work permit with your study permit. So you work part-time while you study full-time. And after, so that's a student work permit. Now, when you're finished studying and you get your papers and you finish pay the school them money, then them release the paper that you need to submit in order to get your 3-year work permit.
Awesome. Awesome. Good. All right. So Simone is asking, what is housing like?
Housing where? In Canada in general,
I
or where
guess
I'm
in
at?
Canada in general.
The the whole, because of the pandemic recently, the cost of housing went through the roof. However, the interest rate that has been tampered with over the last couple of months allowed the cost for houses to drop. However, depending on where you are, if you choose to come up north to work, then the government provide housing for you. All right, so I'm in government housing. My rent comes out of your salary before it even come to you. It's reasonable, and government workers are given first priority because they need to ensure that they're comfortable in the north
Wow.
working. As it relates to down south, as we refer to it as, which is Ontario and other provinces, then working up here, you can easily find the down payment after a year or two, and based on your salary range, you can get a place of your own. in no time.
Wow. Awesome. 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 And you say government workers are taken care of.
Yes,
Did I hear you right? Government workers are taken care of.
you heard correctly.
Wow, awesome. I see Marcella says, as always, Dr. Britton, great guest, awesome interview. You always ask the right questions. Enough blessings, Mr. Hutchinson. We are so appreciative for Mr. Hutchinson coming to share with us today. I think you are our first Canadian guest, so that makes you special,
Hmm.
gone down into kicking with Dr. Britton's history, not Guinness World Record. In my history, the first Canadian educator to come and share with us, and he has taught in Canada, and now he's an administrator in Canada. So, guys, let's congratulate him. Show your love in the chat box. Those
Hmm.
who have not liked the video as yet, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. It's not gonna hurt to give the video a thumbs up. I see 48 people online and only 3 thumbs up. My God, honest stingy, sir. On a stingy bad. Tiffany is saying, first of all, Diane said, if you are single and ready to mingle, yes, that's one option. Tiffany Senior is saying, good evening. I joined late, so I'm not sure if this question was already asked. What if you don't want to study but work only? Does the program facilitate that? There's no program. We did mention that, right?
Um, if they don't want to study, they go the express entry profile.
Yes. Express entry, yes. Simone said, thank you, sir, for your response. Ronell says, hey, Calbert, congratulations and thanks for sharing. All right, guys,
Oh,
go ahead
that's
and
that's that's my girl Ronel
Ronell, yes.
in the
Um,
States.
I'm not
Uncle.
I'm not sure. It just says Ronell. Julian Dixon
Oh,
says, congrats, sir. Rochelle, give you, I think, some applause. People have been saying
mm,
congratulations earlier. No, no, remember, man.
thank you,
Okay,
guys.
thanks for responding. Tiffany says, thanks for
Thank you.
responding. I know Nikisha said, congratulations earlier. I want to take the time to congratulate you also because, listen, they're saying we're cowards to come to the United States or wherever we go and not return home, but they know really and truly what's happening. Evelyn says, congratulations. And I want to
Yeah.
commend you. You go ahead, Mr. Hutchinson.
No, and I was going to commend you as well with this program because a lot of times we think that is only one school out there, one country out there for just one or
Yes.
a few people, and a lot of time we will hold on to information to
Yes,
ourselves, right? But there's a lot of opportunities out there for everyone. You
everybody.
understand? And what you're doing right now in highlighting these
Yes,
opportunities through personal experiences with those who come on
yes,
your program, it's a good thing. So keep up the good work.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Mr. Hutchinson. But I want to commend you for not just saying, okay, I'm going to take this leap of faith, but you're going to go the route that's not the easiest. A lot of us said, okay, we're going to go to the myself too. Because if my friend was to come on or if she was to join right now, should I say, I told you to come to Canada. And she went to Canada in
Hmm.
2016 and she's set. Okay. And I was like, oh,
Hmm.
Mikhail Badan, you know, the English test, and I don't want to do the English test because I hate it with a passion and it's really not testing English as you mentioned. I don't know what it is testing,
Hmm.
but I just didn't like it.
One of the problem that I had with that test though, the deep English accent because it comes from England, right? The IELTS
Yes,
exam that I did, and just sometimes it's difficult to understand because of the deep English accent that is on the recordings, and
yes,
that makes it a lot difficult for people. But as I said before, it's technique, and
yes,
there are a lot of online. You have a lot of online practice tests for all the sections that comes with that English exam. So if you go
yes,
online, depending on the one that you're doing, you type it IELTS English practice test, and you just go on and practice, 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 practice.
Yes, yes, yes. Look, my head tough. All right. So Ronell says yes, it is. The same question as you were asking. Yes, it is that Ronell.
Mhm.
Karine is saying congratulations, Mr. Hutchinson. Diane says congratulations, Evelyn. Marie, blessings,
Mhm.
Calbert. Which province are you in? Nunavut. I want to say to make sure I'm saying the right thing. No, no, it's not a province, it's a
Yeah,
territory.
the territory. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. So he's in the
big
territory
up
of
Ronell.
Kavalik in an area called Nunavut. All right. I
No, no,
got
no, no,
that.
no, 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 Britain. It's like Nunavut is the umbrella,
Yes.
and the people under the umbrella now, the Kivalik region, the Kikitani region, and the Kikitmute region. All right, so Nunavut is a territory, and the Kivalik region is just one part of Nunavut.
Okay, yes, got it right. So I think
Mhm.
I think Karine heard that. Thanks for clarifying. Rock says commendations to you, Calvert from Ralston.
Oh, big up Ralston. And you'll have to reach out to him soon because well, I don't know if I'm permitted to, but Ralston should be coming up here soon
Wow,
in
okay.
Nunavut.
All right, sounds
Sorry,
good.
Ralston.
Sounds Shanae says, this is my first time coming across the program. Trust me, I'm glad it's very informative. Government housing, government workers are taken care of. What is the average class size in Canada?
Way better than Jamaica. And I like Jamaica where you have 60 and 50 people in a classroom with one partition where you hear everybody through.
Yeah,
Here average 25.
25, 25. Good.
Hmm.
You had to do the English test even though you went through the student route.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody has to do that English
I
test as
didn't-
far as I know.
yeah.
Everybody has to do that
Yeah.
English test. I don't know what. Yeah, everybody has to do that English test. Guys, any more questions? Go
Hmm.
ahead and put them in the chat box. We're getting ready to wrap up. Again, if you're studying for your praxis to get your license, you're using study.com, you can use my code where you get 30% off first time signing up. My code is kicking with Dr. Britton. Also, we will not have a
So,
live
so
next week. Yes?
I was just curious because I heard you mention a few times that in terms of working in the States, it's rather difficult to get any form of residency or citizenship. So it's
Yeah.
just work permit that are renewed over and over and over again.
So
There's
what
no
they do for
opportunity
the
to get
yes, so what I do for the teaching programs, and I must say, and I should highlight this also. For the teaching programs, especially for the J1 programs, they offer 3 years, a
Mhm,
3 year visa, which is renewable for an
mhm,
additional 2 years. And after the 5 years,
mhm,
you are to go back home because some programs will force you out of the country also. You need to go back home. It's a J1 program, it's an exchange program, and that is it. You need to go back home. Some people will go back
mhm,
home and get and take up other jobs in the United States and come back maybe on a H1B visa. Or there's other routes where you
mhm,
can um apply for a waiver and stay and take up a job on a different type of work visa. And again, it's a
mhm,
work visa or whatever them call it, work permit. And you're basically, as I say, you're very fierce there, whatever to nobody. You're basically waiting for um a school district to sponsor you, or there are different routes. Just like you mentioned in Canada,
mhm,
you can go the marriage route, or yes, you can apply for yourself, but that's rare in the United States where people are applying for their own permanent residency. Not even the lawyers want to do it. The lawyers are not even
mhm.
encouraging it because they say that route is tedious, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm saying people might be jumping on to say yes, they want to go and take on the easier route, but in the long run, it might not be the easiest.
Yeah, because with that I can see right away that there's no guarantee, there is no security right there after 2 years, after 3 years. um mm-mm.
Yes, yes. So if you're a teacher, you know, because not everybody wants to come and stay and live. Some teachers just want to get the experience
Yeah,
and go. So yeah, you come and you get your experience and you go. But then what if it's somebody that wants to stay? You know, they're in this long drawn out process, if you may call it that. Yep.
yeah.
All right. So
Well, come to Canada.
huh? Come to Canada.
Come to Canada.
All right. So Julian says, Dr. Brittany, you're doing an awesome job. I want to try to teach Savannah this year. Awesome. Go for it. All right. So next week we will not have a live, guys. But the following week, the first Sunday in September, we will have a live, but that will not be an interview per se. It will be the launch of a nonprofit organization that was created for international teachers. I hope that people will join that live so that we can get volunteers to come in and, you know, share their experience and, you know, how they think this organization can benefit so many international teachers who are coming here in the United States and basically are at a loss when they just arrive. And I want to add this, and I must say this. I don't know if Mr. Hutchinson want to add to this after I'm finished talking, but guys, please, please, please don't think that when you leave your country, and not just Jamaica, because it's not just Jamaicans coming to the United States or going to Canada to teach. Please don't think it's a bed of roses. It's hard work. It's hard work, and sometimes even harder than your home country. So get that in your streams or get that in your mind. It's not for the faint-hearted. That's the faint-hearted. I'm sorry. It is rough and it is
um
tough. And if you're not strong, you will give up before it even begin. I don't know if Mr. I don't know if
I
it's the
can
same
say
in
I
Canada.
can I can I can add to that, Dr. Britton. And I'll share again. When I was at Seneca studying in my first year, um I I was I had to resign my substantive post back in Jamaica, right? So I was without a salary there. I had bills to pay, I had my family to take care of, mortgage to pay. And trust me, every single job online could apply for, I applied for, and I ended up with a dishwasher job at
Mm-hmm.
a restaurant downtown Ontario, Pusiteri Fast Food. And I work and I work and I work. And one of the
Yes,
things that I did is that these are some of the stories that you don't necessarily hear,
yes,
especially when you reach a certain phase in your life. I to save money, I would have, when I work at that restaurant, I would have my dinner there before I get home, so I didn't have to spend money
yes,
to buy food. And because I had rent to pay, so that money that
yes,
I saved from buying dinner and go towards my rent in that basement apartment close to the school that I was attending, so I didn't
yes.
have to pay much for transportation. You understand? And
Mm-hmm.
I worked that job with pride to the point where when I was leaving that job, the manager offered the manager offered to opt my position so I could be in a recognized NOC category to aid with my application for permanent residency. He didn't have to
Yes,
do that, but he
yes,
wanted me to stay because of the work ethics, to the
yes,
point where he was willing to do that. And I said, you know what? Um, no, I'm good. I appreciate it, but I am good. I already had a plan. You
yes.
understand? I wanted to be in the position
Independent.
that I'm in right now. And I,
Yes,
you know what? Yeah.
independent
But
of
those are
him.
some of the things that you have to do. I
Yeah.
wash plate and pots until my finger blistered.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is it. That's the difference, and that's the flexibility in Canada. When you go, you have an option to work where you want to go. When you come here on the teaching
Oh yeah.
programs, you are only able to work with the school district that sponsored you that teaching visa. What do you call it? The teaching license or pro visa, whatever you call
Mhm.
it, you know what I'm saying. Whichever district sponsored
Yeah.
you to come here in the United States, what and their district name is in your visa, or the program sponsor name is in your visa, you only can work for them. And teachers, you just have to know, and I don't know how to say this, but it's not easy. Plain and simple. It's not
Mm-hmm.
easy. You're going to need support. You're going to need that support system that you're going to bounce ideas off, and you're going to try to find ways to make things work for you. You have to find ways to make things
Definitely.
work for you, because it's not easy. None at all. I want to put that out there, because I know a lot of people want to try. They want to come and they want to be in the classrooms in the United States or Canada or whatever. I don't know about Canada, but I know here in the United States it's not easy. So really and truly, you need some thick skin to go in the classrooms here.
Mhm.
Plain and simple.
Yeah.
This is the
And
real
and and
talk. Go ahead.
and this is my last word before the program close. It's in life, and for those who are listening,
Yeah.
a lot of times we tend to think or believe that the destination of where we're going is the most important of our accomplishment, but it's not. It's the experiences that we get along the journey to that
Yes.
destination that matters the most. So as we go through life, and this is something that I apply to my existence,
Yes.
I place a lot of value into the experiences that I gain along my journey to wherever I so choose to go. So
Yes.
if coming to Canada, um, becoming a resident, um, even though that was the end goal for that chapter, the experiences that I gain along that path values it means more to me than becoming a resident. And that's how I'm able to be on your program now to talk about some
Yes.
of these things. That's where
Yes.
the value is. It's the experiences that you gain along your journey and not the destination itself.
Yes. And also sharing that experience with others and not keeping it to
Oh, yeah,
ourselves, as you mentioned earlier.
definitely.
So guys, I know Ronald said this is the real talk. We appreciate you must be willing to make sacrifices to make it work. Definitely. Because trust me, every country has their own culture, and you cannot go to somebody else's country and think you're going to change their culture. So you have to find ways
Mhm.
how to, go around and make it fit into what you already know. So we have come to the end of this session. I want to thank Mr. Hutchinson again for coming to share some very informative information with us today. We are so appreciative for it. I want to thank the people who are online who have been here since the start. Still not seeing where everybody give the video a thumbs up. Go ahead and give the video a thumbs up if you have not done so as yet. And do be on the lookout for the next live, the first Sunday in September, where we will be launching that nonprofit organization. I hope we get some volunteers to help us with that. In the mean and between time, guys, have an awesome evening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
I take care, everyone.
All right.